You can be too patient. And that patience of like, well, I think it could go to this level. Well, I think it could do that, will sometimes cost you money. Now, what we're going to talk about in this section is using multiple time frames to master VWAP. Evan is a master of VWAP. He truly does understand how to stay patient enough while using the higher time frames to find how to combine the right price with the right time. So, we're going to get into it. We got a bunch of sessions, bunch of panels still to do. So try here on this session, it's a little shorter. Try to hold your questions till the end, okay? Unless it's super pressing to a specific chart, let's hold to the end. Good? Let's do it.
All right. So I do want to keep this simple because, I mean, with any of our trading, once we go through some of these markups here in the end, I try to keep it as simple as possible because we were talking a little bit last night of overcomplicating it, no matter where you're at in your trading, is probably never a good thing, right? It's really knowing what you do well, what you don't do well, and just refining it through time, and then sticking with what works for a longer period of time. A lot of the time, it's not seeing enough through. But I mean, now, how long have I traded like this? At least a year. And I sometimes add in maybe his Bookmap. I'll look at different levels, but the core basics are pretty much the same. But first, this was probably my best streak of trading where, what was that, 42 days, one losing red day. Now, they weren't all max daily profit days, but the same thing in that time. That was October to February. It was really just ending the day green. My job is just to make money. It's not to try to maximize gains every single day, as stupid as that sounds. If I could finish the day green today and stack my way towards that payout without being so emotional, right? Because could I always try to go make more? But I'm up on the day. That's going to make me feel better tomorrow where I could then trade better. The risk is always, if I keep on sticking around and trading more likely to do something stupid. Does that bleed into the next day's trading? And then the next day's trading. So my job is just knowing that at this time, one little thing might spiral me, not dramatically, but I know that the importance of ending the day green is going to help me tomorrow and the rest of the week. So the risk reward of trading the rest of the day wouldn't be worth it for the rest of my week, if that can make sense. But this was definitely the biggest tear I went on. The bottom half towards the right, obviously the size is a lot lower, because it was almost intimidating of trying to keep this streak alive because everyone's watching me. Are you still green? Did you not lose yet? That's insane.
And also getting closer to the payout, so wanting to preserve the gains. Look at the small green bars, though, everybody. You want to hit them with the pointer? See them, everybody? Even the second trading day. That's him just walking away and not going red. Or it's him being red initially and getting green and just calling it and saying, I'll come hit hard tomorrow, and he does. Look at the rebound. There's only 2 small consecutive green days. You see him in there? Every other small green day has led to a big green day the next day. Isn't that interesting?
But this is also the biggest number to probably focus on. 54 losses. Obviously, I was still taking trading losses, but I'm ending the day green. That's why a lot of these are smaller. So if you want to say there's 30 solid green days of profit, the other 10, I survived. I was down. I recovered. I don't need to try to press it even more. And then for better or for worse, towards this back half, consistency of sizing of, well, I don't want to hammer it now. I'm on this crazy streak. I don't want to lose it. But that's not maximizing gains because it was the next month after this, which I don't have up here. The next month I broke the streak, but I made more money than I did on the streak just because now, well, I'm trading freely. That the streak means nothing. It just looks cool and pretty, but I wasn't maximizing gains necessarily because it did handcuff me sometimes of being less willing to take a trade. Now I'm more in my head of remaining perfect and keeping the streak intact, and that's just expectations. The streak means nothing. It doesn't pay me more. AK, that's why I made more the next month without the streak. So if you just stick to what's been working, once the streak was snapped, okay, what got me that? What were the setups? I still want to repeat that moving forward, but there's no expectation of, well, you're fine to lose.
This is only good for Instagram. That's all a streak matters for. It doesn't make you more money.
And then these were some of the payouts from that, and then at the very end, just cleared the entire Top Step account after I got the 30 days of, was it $200? Tradify payouts, no top ones yet, but that will be coming this month. It's all right. But scalping with the VWAP. So I really want to keep it simple on just one VWAP, maybe 2 to 3 throughout the rest of the day. But you see this black one is always going to be anchored from the 9:30 open. Keep it simple. The one level is the opening range. We have an initial balance later on in the first hour of the day. This is just the first 15 minutes of the day. How we were just mentioning, a lot of the time it's not just price, it's the timing that you're trying to play that price. So with this one, this is our first break outside of that bottom range. I probably want to be a bear today. doesn't just mean I sell it right now because what is that? 2 more, 3 more minutes of follow through. If I don't time that exit perfectly at the bottom, now am I back at break even? So I agree it wants to move lower today, but when do I want to get in short after a pullback? Because moves like that don't sustain forever. I mean, what is that? 12 minutes of just all sellers, and now I'm going to jump in. The play to jump in probably would have been from the top. Not my strategy, but now I can't move in now. Everybody sees that it's bearish. Let it pull back and then just play the next leg of it. A lot of it is going to be trend continuation. So you have to be willing to miss a part of the trend. But that's fine, because if it's going to keep on trending all day, we'll catch the next move. But if you don't have faith that there is a next move, this is the only one today, then yeah, go ahead, jump in down here, take the stop loss, and then see it fall where you wanted it to. You just got eager and jumped in too soon. So it's all about just waiting for a pullback. You're playing the same price. What is that, 30 minutes later, but after the pullback, no drawdown initially. And this is the importance of that stop loss we were saying. I don't really pull my trades early. Case in point for this one. I try to put it at a place where I know I don't want to be short anymore. If we take that out and we're making now higher highs, yeah, I probably shouldn't be short. Now I want to be full out of it. But too many times, someone's going to cut it here, see it come back down, they're adding back in, they cut it again, now they're on tilt because nothing's really happened. We moved maybe 6 points, but they've taken 3 trades. I just want to take the one trade, see the idea through, tell me when I'm wrong, or tell me when I'm right. If I'm wrong, hit the stop loss, I'll readjust, and maybe the shorts aren't in play today. I'll look for longs later on. I don't try to rush and time it perfectly. I'm giving it a shot that I want to sell this level at the bottom. If we take that out, okay, I'm wrong. Maybe I'll look for longs later on. It's the same thing here to the upside. There's the break of the top of the range. I know I want to be a buyer, but I'm not going to chase, one, the first break, but also at the very highest price up until that moment. I want to let it pull back down. It respects the same level. I could buy it at the same level that you wanted to 20 minutes ago, but now you're seeing it create some structure where you know you'd want a stop loss, and from there, it's all profit. Now, some people will say, and it is a fair point, if I buy it there, depending on where your stop is, you probably survive. We probably both make money. Because if you're buying at the same price, that small pullback's probably not enough to stop you out. But it's, again, I want to get in and take on as least amount of drawdown as possible because I know I could just operate better if I'm in pure profit, as most of us do. So I'm not saying, nah, I don't think that price goes higher from there. I know if I'm a little bit early, I may overmanage it, I may question it, I don't want to sit through that drawdown if I don't have to. So I'm not trying to time it perfectly, just trying to time it better. So if I could get in now and see pure profit, then this pullback, if I was buying it from there, seeing green, back to break even, well, now what do I want to do? I was just up, now I'm at break even. Is it going to go to red now? Do I get out of it? You start to question yourself a lot when if you could just get in when it's telling you to, all profit from there, there's less stress and less room to freak it out. But also, the thing I like about this one is you now have structure built for a stop loss. On that first one, you really would have to probably go at the low a day.
Well, there's no high or low.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's down at the bottom.
So we saw a short, we saw a long. Any questions on that real quick before we go on? It's simple. Yeah, for the most part. I mean,
even here, like you see how it pulls back to VWAP and it bounces that bullish bar. That maybe is where a Tanner or someone would try. That's the turn to me. Like that bullish black bar off the black VWAP is now sellers were trying to take and buyers have stepped in with a defense, like with a shield. Now let's see if we can continue.
But you got to think about it, of the market moving in waves. So it's the same thing we said earlier of like, there's the part of the move that I would want to catch. I didn't catch it. I don't want to just jump in at the top. I'll wait for the pullback, and we'll try to get the next one. Even if you miss this one, let it pull back, catch the next one. Don't just be jumping at the top, hoping there's more follow-through. Sometimes there is. Sometimes it's 20 points more follow-through. Sometimes it's 5. So it's really a matter of just recognizing that we're going to move in waves. I missed this one. Could I get in late now and make some money? Sure. How many times out of 100, though? The next 3 or the next 100? Who knows? So if I could just time it better of riding the next wave, I feel a lot more just ease and calm when you're entering the trade because you know you're not rushing into something or chasing something late. This is another downside just easily drawn of, if you want to take a picture of this, is really how simple it is. There's the first break after a big move. So one, I don't want to chase the first break, and I don't want to be chasing an overextended move. So let it pull back. There's the sellers saying, yeah, we're going to stick underneath this New York VWAP, and they break us out of the open range low a second time. All right, well, now I can go. Now the timing is ready because it's now the second break after a pullback, but it's the same exact price. But this one is all ready to go for profit, where this one was ready for a pullback.
Who's been caught in the red circle before? Randy, put that hand up. First break of range trades are very much a FOMO trade because there are days where we break range and go. But it's like 1 out of 10 days, I promise. The longer you wait, you'll see we don't usually do that. First break of range is sometimes a signal. We now are moving lower. Sellers are taking control. I don't want to chase. I want to wait for the better time, like he's saying, to take the trade. It is the same price, correct? He's short in the green circle at the same price he wanted to be short at the red circle. But because he gave the market space to breathe and take a breath, he now gets the right timing. He gets the instant profit. Notice the pullback doesn't go all the way to the New York VWAP. Austin, does it have to go to the VWAP? No, man. Like, think about what the market is telling you. The market said sellers at the open, buyers tried to take it back. Buyers could not even make a new high of day. There's not even a higher high here. So once the sellers take the black New York VWAP and push that move out of opening range low, it is very clear you're flat or you're selling it today. Okay, if I'm selling it, where do I want to sell it? When it's higher, ideally, right? In some form of a pullback. Maybe you don't get that entry. The next way in is like he's teaching you here. You put a VWAP on the low of day, that's the purple line, and you take the break of that VWAP as the entry, because that is when sellers are officially stepping back in. Sellers are in control in general if we're on the lower side of the New York VWAP, but when we take that low of day VWAP, that's where the slide can happen, as you see here. Straight profit.
Yeah, it's very hard, as silly as it is, it's very hard to fuck this trade up, as when, if you're selling at the red circle and you take on 4 candles of drawdown immediately, there's a greater chance that maybe you will pull it early. You're questioning yourself, why did I sell at that price? It's so low. I know I should have waited for a pullback. Maybe you pull it early because you're saying it is going to come all the way up to New York. Let me get out of this price. Then it drops back down, and then you're jumping in late to the second move that you were already in. Where this one, I'm trying to get in with when I think it's less likely that I'm going to fuck something up because it's probably ready to go now. I don't want to really be early, as none of us do, but I feel like this is the better timing, so let me try it now rather than 20 minutes ago, even though 20 minutes ago could have paid the same and you could have maybe not even gotten stopped out. I was less stressful throughout that whole trade, so I'll execute it better. I'll get out when I'm supposed to. I didn't suffer that 10 minutes of drawdown. Now that I'm back at break even, I'm going to say, yeah, just get me out. I didn't like that drawdown. Just get me out break even. I got in, and I'm getting out a little over 1R. Same thing we talked about. The quicker it moves, the quicker I'm out. He's very, obviously, non-1R. I still try to shoot for around it, but for the most part, it's really just reading, reacting to how fast price is moving. Here's an upside example. No need to look at it too much, but another thing is they're all going to be off probably the New York VWAP, a key level, whether that's a VWAP or actual level of the opening range high there. But the whole thing is not chasing the drift higher, of having faith that they can give a bigger pullback, right? There's some small higher lows in here. You could definitely try to long those. This purple VWAP is anchored from the high of day, and the break of it is telling me buyers are back in after just retesting a key level, right? Obviously, they were in this whole time, but I want to see them take a break. Sellers try to push us lower, but respect that key level or key VWAP. And then the next time buyers show back up, now they're ready to continue the trend rather than hoping trend continues from here. I mean, it's been ripping like crazy. I hope it keeps going higher. I've seen sellers try to take it, buyers defended it, and now they're ready to go again. And same thing, stop loss keeps you alive to still build those higher lows because the move isn't wrong or invalidated at least until we break back underneath New York and start making lower highs and lower lows.
What do you notice about from market open? What is price telling you? Who's in control? Oh, I love it when you all answer. Thank God. Where does the New York VWAP go? Louder? Above the opening range. Yes. So even more of a reason there's no short to be had. How many people tried to short it, do you think, after that first run-up out of the opening range? A lot. A lot. You don't need to. Wait, breathe, be cool, calm, and collected like him, and you could take great trades like this. I'd probably be aggressive, and I'd try to buy this on the New York VWAP when it turns, when it's bullish, because then I get a stop down in the range. If this turns and comes back in the range, it's broken. It's not the way it's supposed to be. So now that you're starting to see this all come together, there's a lot of different VWAPs you can play. But it doesn't matter. What matters is price. Who's in control? Are we making higher highs and higher lows, holding those VWAPs, or not?
Let's do some more examples of he was showing a little bit. Where
the
do
flashcards
we go next? So this is the New York Open, big opening range in terms of it's 1045. We haven't broken out of the opening range at all. Maybe a pin to the downside, but any guesses just real quick where you think this would probably want to go? Would you rather long this or short this?
Hold on, wait. Make them both.
Flat New York VWAP, choppy obviously since the open, so we're leaning long bias.
Long? Short.
Well, we're all wrong. But this whole thing of the opening range, more so of lately, if we're in this opening range, the people that said flat, I would agree with you now that if we're in this range, I don't know where we're going, and I don't care where we're going. Give me new information on either a break to the upside or the downside, and then I'll react to the next leg. The same thing. There's the pop to the downside. I don't need to time it that's the time it was ready to go when I thought it was ready to go back there or back there. I thought it wanted to go lower, but it just didn't have the gas to do it until then. I don't need to try to time that. You'll get burnt trying to time that over and over again. Didn't work, so let me long it then. Okay, now we short it again. If we're in this range and look at the sentiment of that New York VWAP, it's flat. Clearly no one's strongly in control, that we're trending higher. And then as you see, as it does break out, we start to fall on the New York VWAP. So just wait for the break, new information, retest off that same level, and then you catch the next leg of the trend continuation. But there was no trend here to try to continue. So don't try to guess what the trend is going to come in at. Yes, it's healthy to have a bias and look at the higher time frames, but trying to time it in these ranges, I know I'm a better trend trader. I know I don't want to time it because I'll easily get chopped up. So just get me out, give me new information. It's going to make the next trade just easier. Now I know I don't want to buy it. We broke to the downside. So now I know I'm looking for one direction. So then I can just lean into, well, okay, well, I want to sell it. Where do I normally want to sell it? Off the key level. It just becomes so much easier and calmer than trying to force the pop out of a chop.
And like this stop loss puts him in a position where if he's short and this comes back into the range, it ain't right. So that's why that stop is valid. And notice, if you took mid-range shorts earlier in the day, do you make money? You definitely do if you follow the rules and you put your stop at the opening range high. It does not retest opening range high. You could have shorted it. Show 'em. Point to it with the pointer. There's like right there, right there. You could have been short on any touch of New York VWAP to the downside, and if you put your stop at the opening range high, you still made money. But you took on hours of drawdown. So what would you rather do? Hours of drawdown or patience and flat until the entry presents correctly? Hours of drawdown? Tanner, God damn it. Everybody wants to be patient for the right entry. I would hope the hands are up for that. Who has the mental fortitude to be patient for that entry? Who's going to sit there from 9:30 till 11:30 for 2 hours and do nothing? The people that put their hands up believe in themselves. The rest of you should talk to them. Serious. It's belief. Do you believe you can be patient? Or do you believe that you're a degenerate and you're just going to force yourself into a trade? And then when that comes, I'll still take it, but you're down $500, $1,000 already. Yeah?
I've just seen too many people also sell it underneath that New York. Then it doesn't follow through. It's now back above New York, so then they long it. And then they switch it back to short. It's like, well, how much new information that we got that your bias is switching that drastically, that quickly?
And you're not following the rules because you're cutting trades before they're invalid. So you're tilted. You gotta go. All right, this is a good one.
Let's do another one. We got the same thing. Opening range has been broken to the upside. New York VWAP sloping a little bit more higher here to the upside, but still within that opening range. Should be like the shorts here or the longs here, more so than not.
Longs, hands up. Shorts, hands up.
So there's the break to the downside.
What'd I tell ya?
So we also have a high day view up on this one. You can notice buyers couldn't hold it there, couldn't really get above it the second time they tried to hold New York. But it's the same thing. I think we could want to go higher too.
I would have said higher. I see higher lows and higher highs.
But we're in the range, so I don't give a fuck where it wants to go. Tell me where you want to go. There's the break. New information outside the range.
And then here, if you were long, go back one. If you were long here, where's your stop? Range bottom, exactly. So where you stopped out? Right here. Now next slide. There's your move. So you can take that loss on that long, not chase that move lower, play it short later in the day and recover. So you don't have to be wrong the whole day. You just got to be reacting, not married to the long bias. All right, I'm going to buy it at the bottom now. No, bro, the market is telling you we finally broke lower. You should be looking for shorts the rest of the day until that VWAP is taken, which it never even gets retested.
And there's plenty of money to be made in these smaller pullbacks, right? If you're definitely short biased by this point, you could want to be looking for shorts. You get a break of a lower day view up there saying, let's go continue this short trend, but it doesn't follow through. Always try to let it return to a key level or a key VWAP, and then that's more likely where the next leg of the actual trend or the bigger move of trend would want to continue from. So I'm not really concerned of trying to take these small little baby pullbacks, I would call them. Let it pull back for like an hour. Sellers clearly defend this level. Then they break the lower day, another choppy one. But good stop loss at structure, you let sellers hold in until buyers take control. Sellers try to keep taking us lower and lower, and then they finally win that battle because you're on the right side of trend that there's a greater chance will eventually fall as opposed to eventually skyrocket back up when there was no buyers at the open.
Are you guys following the VWAPs that are on screen? Purple low a day, purple high a day, black is New York VWAP.
So like this one right here? Yeah, you definitely could. That's like the small pullback retest to the key level. There's even another one here and another one over here. My thing is just seeing, I like to see a bigger pullback so I could have more structure covered, right? That I've let this all come back. I'm selling it to the low of day. That I have more room to trade to where we've already been. I know price has been down there. We can probably get there again. Rather than trading it, if I'm selling that low a day break, it's probably right there. I have, 3 points to back to low a day. And now I'm asking for new lows to be made. Not that they can't. I just like to go fill the space that we've already been. That's really it. So if I can get the bigger pullback, there's more risk reward or more room to just go somewhere that on this trade, I don't even need it to go to a new low a day. The trend doesn't even need to continue for me to make money.
Right.
If you're selling it at the lowest price, you need a new low a day to go make some money. And I don't want to have to rely on that in case it does slow down.
Great answer. I like selling into low a day, not selling for a new low a day. And also, time builds a base. The more time you have from the anchor until that anchor is broken, the more information it gathers. So if you throw a low a day on it, the first break of opening range to the downside at that one candle, and it's 6 minutes until you take the short, you have 6 minutes of information. It's not that much versus if you wait for that break and then this entry, it's 2 hours of information. Much more reliability in the trend and the anchor from that point.
And this is just a quick one of just noticing how all these cleaner entries are on their way out of the opening range or already outside of that open range, that the trend is outside this range. So we are continuing higher, and then your job is just to try to capitalize off the key level and the key VWAP.
Bro, that third trade, buyers have clear control all day. They try to take control at 1140, 1150 to the downside. They can't. They even throw a nasty pin for you to use as a stop loss, and then they take the high a day VWAP, which says, don't buy the rip, don't buy the dip, buy that like he has marked, and look at the reward. I'm out of that trade at equal highs, maybe trailing one contract. When it gives you free money like that, bro, that is amazing. That's the power of trading with VWAP, especially when VWAP leaves the New York range, when we get out of that opening range.
Yep, and then one quick thing would just be these 3 or 4 candles down back below New York VWAP doesn't just necessarily mean, sellers are in. The trend is changing to short. You still have to account for a structure that, okay, well, since the open, it's still been higher highs and higher lows. The New York VWAP is still sloping up. Is it more likely to continue higher with the trend, or are sellers actually in and making new lower highs and lower lows? Because this just induces so many shorts saying, well, we were above it, but now sellers are in, right? So we're going to go just sell off. Well, what's the higher time frame saying, first of all? But even just here on the 1 minute, it's still building higher lows. That there's no saying that this is going to be the higher low we're working off of. This can't be broken. From back here in the open, it's still moving higher. I don't want to be calling that now sellers are stepping in. If they do break for a new low a day, and you were right on this was the time that sellers came in, I'll just catch the leg of it later. I don't need to catch the first time sellers are in. I'll get it later.
Yeah, for new traders, like if you're really buying in on the VWAP stuff, the best thing, Christine will tell you, is don't fight that VWAP. Try your best to stay flat or just trade with it. Unless you really know your personality and you are a reversion kind of guy, like a revert to the mean, I want to wait for extremes like Isaac and then flip it back. They know themselves. But when you're a new trader, I believe a high win rate is easier to teach than a high risk reward, and trading with trend is easier than counter trend. That's just my opinion. So if you're here for, I would ask the other guys what they think of that, but easy means simple. Simple is what we kind of need because we tend to overcomplicate things on our own. So try to keep all of this as simple as possible. Now, this is the most important part of this presentation.
And this would be kind of similar to what we were just talking about. Clearly short buys here at the open, but we do get back above the New York VWAP a little bit longer than that short markup we just went over. But do we want to buy this higher? New York VWAP is now maybe flat, maybe even arching up. Low a day VWAP could be broken a little bit, but are we going long here? Does anyone hate the long, like the long?
Longs? Even with the New York VWAP under opening range low? It's going up. Yep.
For now. This is the 15-minute for that day since the changeover. This is where you're long it. Saying buyers are back in. The trend is moving higher. It's still clearly making lower highs from all overnight. This is the daily VWAP anchored from. So we are above that. But again, structure is the second piece you have to add in with this VWAP. that until we maybe take out one of these white lines, which is just a lower high, we're still falling on top. I don't want to be long it into lower highs on the higher time frame or the lower time frame. But you got to think, what's the story today? Am I long biased today? Like, what's the likelihood that this is trending higher? It's not moving higher, so why do I want to jump into a long just because it's moving higher for the past 40 minutes? That is it more likely to come back down for the next 3 hours or continue higher for the next 3 hours? Probably back down for the next 4 hours.
This is a 15-minute chart, just so everybody knows. So he's out to the 15-minute time frame, see where we're at based on the overnight VWAP, and then reacting to say, do I want to just be long because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 15-minute bars up? Like that? Like I really want to be long now when sellers have been in control half the day at least, and then if you count the overnight 3/4 of the day, you're buying it at literally the top before the next lower high. Right there. But you can flip and still make your money back.
Think about what your bias is. What's the higher time frame telling you to do? What is your trend continuation going to be? The trend to continue would be back to the downside, so you don't want to chase this long, get caught up there in a lower high from the open, wait for sellers to step back in, back below New York VWAP, the lower day VWAP, off the key level again, and now trend's ready to continue. Another thing would even be to let it retest, and you could take the second time out, but it's also really, the New York VWAP is flat, the 15 minutes may be telling me to short it, but I want to long it here on the 1 minute. Anyone that would want to long it here or go counter trend, whatever you want to call it, you would want to get as close to that VWAP as possible because there is money to be made in that little pump up. But you don't want to just be caught chasing it too high up now because you don't know how much further it would like to continue since it's not in trend. That just gets more dangerous longing it up here. But if you can catch the break of it, you could scalp some money long out of that.
Look at how long of a base this one built, Krista. The low of day is at 11. He's trading the break of the low of day VWAP at 1 o'clock, 1:15. So it's 2 hours of information. That's a strong VWAP to use. The bigger the base, the more confidence I have in my trades. When I take a low of day VWAP trade, the one you asked about at 6 minutes of a base, these guys know I never really am in those unless I'm tilting. That's just me chasing. This is much more of a low of day VWAP you'll see me play, especially because low of day VWAP and New York VWAP are close. Two key VWAPs overlapping like that, like previous day New York and today's New York, a low of day and a New York, double confirmation. You know, I have a lot of orders there. No. No, because if I have to set alerts, that means I'm not focused on my trading. I've never set alerts. I've never done that. Go for a coaching call, I just go, and I don't trade. When I trade when I'm on a coaching call, I can tell my clients don't like that. And they pay a lot of money, so I ain't going to do that. Who's laughing? Why are you laughing? You know it's true. You're going to pay a lot of money and then be like, Austin's half distracted trading NQ at 2 in the afternoon. Right. No, I'm smart enough. I turned that sound off at least, all right? I'm good at being sneaky. Go ahead.
This is going back to the point of when it's in this range, I don't really care where it wants to go. I'm thinking of ideas and theses of where I think the trend wants to ultimately take us, but I don't need to try to predict or guess the timing of it, I guess is the better way to say it, because you could try to pop the long there, then chase it short, but there's not real follow-through and continuation hour after hour. So let it get out of the range. Get new information. For this one, it's going to be a new high a day. We've seen some markups where it was a new low a day. I mean, we do have a new low a day view up there. But new information to the upside, retest to that key level, and then I'll take the second time we're ready to go continue that trend, right? Everyone and their mother knows that we look bullish now up here. I don't want to be looking where everyone else is looking to get in long because the amateur is going to chase it up there and get absolutely smoked.
Because their stop is right there. When they buy the breakout, they put the stop at the pins at the lower high. Everybody's done that trade, and then you lose. You'll find as you get better at trading, you will be selling or buying to your older self. I find that I'm getting out of trades where old Austin used to be buying.
Yeah, the trade becomes too crowded. It's too obvious. The whole herd is going to jump in there. I don't really want to be where everyone else is buying it because it's most likely that they're going to lose money, so I don't want to be in where they're at. So
Evan's the black sheep.
But this is also the 15-minute of it. Why would I be looking for shorts when we've been higher highs and higher lows all overnight, and this is that black overnight VWAP? We're still above that, pinning below it. All this chop here at the open is a pin to the daily, pin to the daily. So I'm not really looking for shorts today. Where are we? I'm not really looking for shorts today. So even though it was potentially breaking out to the bottom, I'm not really wanting to find shorts. It doesn't make a lot of sense with this trend. So I'm not chasing that, first of all, but it's not looking good for longs either. I can't really long it close mid-range here with the structure maybe falling still on the bottom. So just let it break out. Make a new high. Tell me that it is actually potentially trending higher. And then again, the next leg. I don't need to catch the first time it pops higher. Congrats. I could have timed that. Maybe not. I'll get the next one. It's just as easy. It maybe moves even further, less drawdown. So I don't need to try to catch the first trade, the perfect trade. Just trying to catch a piece of it, and then I'll rinse and repeat the next day. All right, so that's enough of the charts. But I do want to talk about some of the lack of professionalism that I think we all still go through, but thinking that you can just make money out of any move. A lot of that would be inside that opening range, inside the chop. I think this is ready to pop higher. I think it's ready to move lower. Just thinking that there's always something to do. Whether it's to your plan or not, you're thinking, well, I've read the candlesticks and I've read the charts for like 2 years now. I can make money in anything. We all fall into that, and it is easy to try to just always create an idea of where I think this wants to go next. I think it's ready to go here. But if it's not fitting my plan, I do not care. Is it probable that it moves higher, or is it just a potential that it might move here, because I've seen it want to do that from time to time. But there's not always something to be in, and that's really something you have to become comfortable with, that you'll see me wait an hour for a pullback, and then it's telling me to get in. I wanted to short it an hour ago, but I knew if I did and I lost, that's not to my plan. I'm going to have to just feel like shit for taking something I know better than to do, and it just costs you money. I've done it too many times to know that when I go outside of this plan, it doesn't reward me. It rewards me like once out of every 10. So it's not worth it for me to try to just keep making money out of anything when I know if I could wait for this specific setup, it does make me money. That's what got me the 30-day streak. So why would I want to do something else when I know that I have better odds waiting for something else? Do we have trend? Are we off a key level? Is it telling me to get in now? A lot of it was the timing. Is it telling me to get in now? We do have trend. It is off a key level, but it's not really telling me to get in now because there's no break of a higher day VWAP to go continue the trend higher. All right, well, let me wait to see if buyers can step in and break that higher day, telling me they're back in control and we're probably going to move higher now. It's all about timing with the trend and a key level. I mean, today was super slow, but it was respecting the key levels. The timing was tough to time because there was no continuation or follow-through. And we want to be right more than you make money. That's the same bucket as just thinking there's always something to do. I think this is ready to go higher. This is just too easy. This can't possibly move lower, so I'm just going to put it on the long. I don't know where the stop loss should go, but I'm going to put it on the long. You just wanting to make money or wanting to be right more than you actually want to just be systematic and know where your odds lie and repeat that over a long period of time.
Stop thinking. Thinking is bad. Thinking means you're forecasting. I think the most important word here is, he said, thinking you could make money of any move. Stop thinking. What's the market doing? React. You with me? You'll overthink yourself out of everything. You'll overanalyze out of everything, right? We've all been there. Thinking is going to slow you down. You want to build up experience so you know it like the back of your hand, and you're not thinking. You're acting. It's just part of what you do because you're asking yourself the right questions. The only thing you should be thinking about is answers to questions. If you're thinking, I hope it does this, or I think it's going to do that, if you catch yourself saying either of those, you're wrong. You're most likely wrong. What is it telling me? Yeah. Another way I would say it is like if you catch yourself thinking, I think this is going to go higher, probably need a break. I think this should go lower. Well, what is the time frame that is on? So you're thinking things of like a bias, but it's not actually giving you tactical stuff to trade off of. You're just thinking, oh, I think this can do this today. Does that make you money? That's the question. Does thinking make you money? Asking yourself questions actually makes you money. What is the market doing? What is it telling me to do? I think it's going to do... Stop. I thought it was going to go lower on NFP, and I owe $10 or $20 because you make fun bets with your gambles, with your thoughts. We're trying to take the gambling out of this, take the professionalism and put that in front of it. So professionals will say, if it does this, then I will do that. Gamblers will say, I think it should do this. You got that on video back there? That was good. He's nodding his head. All right, just making sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that comes a lot of it with those breaks of a new lower day outside the range. I think it wants to go lower here. I do think that, but I need to wait. Okay, if I could see a pullback and sellers actually defend it, I'll look to take this short off of my key level. I think we want to go lower, but thinking it wants to go lower right then and now doesn't necessarily pay me. I need it to be off a VWAP, off a key level, after a pullback, all these different things that are simple if I could just wait for it. They will present if I could just wait for it. If I jump in too soon, maybe I'll be out of risk to take advantage of it when it is my plan later on.
The guy that's up 60 G's in here today is a simple man. He's a very simple guy. He doesn't overcomplicate anything. And in fact, he says, I don't know all the time. He doesn't know nothing except what he knows, and that makes him money. If you think you're smart enough to be a quant, go work at a hedge fund. Don't do this. Because some of the guys that are loose and fast make the most money because it's feel. They build experience, they take losses, they build the callus, and they can feel, and then they can do really well. Where the other guy's overanalyzing, paralysis by analysis, he's missing trades, he's chasing trades, and he's on tilt.
One more thing is taking what's possible, not what's probable. I touched on that a little bit. It really comes down to how many times do you think this would win on a monthly basis? Not just, I think this can work out today. I mean, it looks pretty bullish, so what are the odds that it loses against me if I put on a long? I think it's probable that we're going to go higher here because it's bouncing off of this key level. Buyers defended it. The trend is moving higher. The 15 minutes tell me to long it. Okay, that's probably going to work out because it's fit your plan. It's fit your markups. You know you have your best chance to buy it then. Then that's a trade you should be in. Not it probably works out or sometimes it works out. I don't know. I think it's possible, so I'm going to take it because why not? It's a trade to be in, but that's just wanting to be right rather than to make money. Is this what my markups look like? I talked about it last week on stream where those opening range plays came from when it's in that red box we were showing. Is this where my best longs come from? Because I was thinking about longing it when we were still falling. I'm like, it could move higher. It honestly could, but it's just not what my best longs look like. So you have to know what your best trades look like, of course. That could it move higher? It probably could even go higher, but I just know this is not the structure for it. There's not the parameters for it. So if it were to lose, that's a bad trade, right? I'm not thinking about if it wins, oh, it's good. If it loses, it's bad. It's just a bad trade because that's just not how it normally works out. It normally looks like the pretty trend moving higher, and I'm just jumping on the train, not trying to time when those longs are going to come in. So just knowing, could I take this? Could it win? But is this what my best plays normally look like? And if you don't know what your best plays normally look like, you definitely have to figure that out so that you could even ask yourself that question. But if you do know what it looks like and it's not your best play, you just got to fight the urge to not take it and be patient and not have that FOMO of missing out on it. Abandoning your plan for the quick profits. We pretty much touch on that, the same stuff. So not for everybody, but just quick, simple, whether you're struggling or a lull or whatever. Your new plan, just for the short term, just an exercise. Try it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You'll probably make more money.
And send them half the profits.
Yeah, or 10% is fine.
Generous.
1 to 2 trades per day. We're going to talk about, well, there's that third setup. I want to take it. It sounds stupid. It may not maximize your gains. It may not. But if you're struggling, you shouldn't really be focused on how can I make 10,000. You can't even make 2,000 right now. So let's try to just get in the green, be comfortable and confident in your abilities, right? This is just an exercise to show yourself that you can stick to your word and stick to a rule plan. That's really it. Because, okay, yeah, I said I was only going to wait for key levels. I was only going to take 2. And I've done it for like 2 weeks now. So now I trust myself that when I say I'm going to do something, I can follow through with it. All right, well, then in the future, let's add a bigger plan with maximizing gains. But if you could just simplify it to just, I'm going to take 1 to 2, really mark them up. It only needs to be when the trend is super clear, off a key level. You need a max daily loss set in. So with the 2 trades, I would probably say set your max daily loss at 2 times the risk that you're putting on. So that if you take 2 losses, you're done for the day. Don't take a third, and you can't even take a third because you're locked out now. And then you're either full in or full out of your trades, right? I want to trail it. I want to leave a piece on. I think it goes higher, and it might. But it's just an exercise for the next 2 weeks when you're struggling, you're feeling like you're missing out on gains, and you're not taking profits at all. Just go full in, full out, get the confidence from bagging wins in full, saying, you know what, I got out. I bagged it. Yes, it went higher without me, but I got out where I said I was going to. That feels a lot better than, oh, I should have got out up there. Now it's pulling back against me. I gave back profits. Now I want to trade again. It just keeps you fresh and easy. You don't have to overcomplicate things. I got out when I was supposed to. I'll do it again later. And then just don't fight the New York VWAP, which we were looking at, which is the black one from the New York Open, and don't fight that 15-minute. If you could just do these things for the short term, you'll probably find out what your best setup is a lot quicker because you're not overcomplicating your trades by taking 6 trades. I always say if I was willing to take 6 trades, then I probably would take that setup. I'll take that setup because I could always trade later on. But it's almost like if I'm saying today you only get 2 shots. That's all you're allowing yourself. Do I want to waste it on this one right now? Nah, it's not worth it. I only have 2 bullets today, so I'm not going to waste it on that. It needs to look like this because I'm really only having 2 shots today. But if you're saying, well, I don't have a cap on my trading, I could trade as much as I want, then why not take the next one? Because you have all the rest of the day to take on more and more and more. But if you're saying, I only have 2, is this worth it? Okay, it is worth it. Then go ahead and take the trade. If it's not worth it, Well, then if you wouldn't take it, if you only get 2 shots, then you probably shouldn't be in it. Simple as that.
Got a picture of that? Good. Yeah.
I'm full in on like drawdown. I'm like letting it play out to the full stop loss because my idea is not dead until then, and we saw a couple markups of that. Did I though? I might have.
I might have. I'm probably the one that said
I
that.
don't think I did.
I'm probably the one that said
I don't
that.
think I did.
Yeah, you're blending, I think, a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to do more of what he's doing. Take good trades and trust your stop. I think if you look at my stats I showed you, I'm holding losers longer than winners. That would align with me taking full stop and not closing those trades. It also could align with sometimes closing a piece of the trade and then letting that trade have more time to come back to profit and washing it, you know? But I think where I'm cutting it is when I take drawdown hot and don't get stopped, but it comes back to entry. I will cut that for the small loss. I won't cut it on the way down. I like if I'm long, I won't cut it as it's going towards the stop. If I took the trade, I'm comfortable with the risk.
Yeah, you shouldn't be too oversized that you're like stressing, oh my God, I'm in draw. If I cut it here, I could stop the bleeding for only 500 rather than 1,000. You should be comfortable with the risk you have on that. If you take that full loss, you're fine, your account's fine, you're still mentally fine to take that next trade. Otherwise, you're just too heavily sized. And it does suck to go through the drawdown, obviously, but a lot of the time, which is why I came to that conclusion of I have to just see the idea through. Too many times I would see it pull back, I pull it, now it's back at entry. Do I get back in and maybe potentially take a second loss because it's still not working out? Then that's more likely that I'll tilt that day because I just entered 2 times on the same idea without it ever being wrong technically.
Right.
And now I actually am wrong twice. So it's really just about I've seen it play out like this before. I'm willing to take the full loss because I have enough risk that I could take another trade and just get it back. It's not the last trade I'm going to take this week or this month that I'm like on the win streak. I took 45 losses, but there was 80 wins to it. If you could just handle the loss and not be emotional about it, then you're more willing to, or you're able to take that next setup that is clear, that I didn't have a losing trade, and that next one just be pure shit because I didn't like the loss. I was able to say, oh, fuck, I like that trade, but then I wait for the next one that is just as good, and it probably won because it was a good setup, right? The thing I did on that streak there, and I still sometimes do it, is handle the loss as well, which it was just, I had confidence in the system. I mean, it's easy to be confident when you're getting fed all that green, but when you do take losses, it's really just a matter of, well, if you knew you should have been in that setup, then that's fine. It's a healthy loss. Just take the next one, and then, oh, it was green, so keep trading. As long as you're fitting to that plan and that rules that you set yourself, the outcome has no like play in how is the trade good or bad, because then you're just obviously going off of the outcome in hindsight.
You can go with the wider stops too, like in conditions like right now with the volatility it's dying down, but it was greater. Wider stops have helped me. Like the one short he had where it's playing around, I don't have a lot of patience. I just told you how fast I am. So I'll blow my load and get in short real quick, and I'll have a stop loss at that high, and I will sit through the drawdown and he won't. But we're both in the same trade. We both will make money often. So I'm going to go with the wider stop and be more comfortable to sit through, and I'm going to just let that thing go. I'm not going to cut it soon because I know we're in volatility. I know that means bigger ranges. I know that means I need bigger stops. So I need to be willing to sit in it and let the idea be truly invalid. Even if that means I was at 50-point stop, 40-point stop when the volatility was really big. But when we're moving 200-300 points in a day, what are you supposed to do? Your 15-point stop is 1 minute. Yeah, like it's not going to happen. You want to put the QR code up?
Yeah, I think another simple thing that you could ask yourself, like when you're in the trade, just to detach yourself from it, if you weren't in it, if you were looking at someone else being in that trade unbiasedly, the best you can, would you want to be in the direction that you're in? The likelihood that you'd say, oh, I'm in long in drawdown, I wish I was short, you probably don't wish you were short. You just wish you weren't in drawdown in your price.
Yes.
That's just a matter of you're in drawdown. Someone bought it 5 points lower than you and they're floating to break even. They still love the longs. You just hate your long because you're in drawdown. So just detach from it saying, my price is just red right now. But do I still like the longs from where I'm long? Okay, yeah, you probably do. You're just detaching, oh, I'm in red. This doesn't look good anymore. This is going to lose. It's going to go short? Probably not. So it's really just detaching from it unbiasedly the best you can.
Give him a round of applause, everybody. Great job.